welcome to another episode of the SourceFed Podcast. I am Matt Lieberman. Joining me around the table today, Steve Zaragoza, Bree Essrig, and Sam Basher.
Hi, Steve.
Yes.
Hey, Sam.
And gang, if you haven't checked out Test Tube Plus yet, and you love podcasts or you love science, you absolutely should. Go to iTunes, search for Test Tube Plus. You can also find it on the Test Tube Plus YouTube channel. Host Trace Dominguez, very dear friend of ours. He tells you everything you need to know about amazing science topics. He's incredibly well researched, and the show is just damn good. So if you're looking for a great listen, if you're commuting or you're doing homework or whatever, you want to escape from the world and learn about science, biology, black holes, whatever, you check out Test Tube Plus. That's TESTTUBEPLUS. I should be able to say that correctly, right?
Yay. You can also make babies that way.
Yes, you could.
Yes.
By spelling?
Test tube.
Oh, with a test
I mean,
tube.
if you're a good speller.
If you're a good speller, how good of a speller do you think you would have to be to like get someone to be like, hey, you're an amazing speller. I want to have your baby and me.
If you can
Well, that
spell,
person should not be able to have children.
Why?
why?
if they're impressed
If
by
that's
spelling.
what they're gauging what they want a child
What
from,
if they want like the world's smartest child and that's how they figured they'd start, is just with a great
that's
speller?
pretty not great.
They are
'cause
aiming low.
They're aiming pretty low. Yeah.
Okay,
I
your
would go for
child
someone
can
who has
be-
like high SAT scores or something.
Why?
Because then
No,
it covers everything.
no.
Why?
The
Book
test
smarts
Okay, fine.
are separate
PSATs. What are we talking
from
about? PSATs?
street smarts. I'm
PSATs.
just saying, can your child do math or can they buy meth?
Listen, I knew a girl who
Well,
could make
okay,
a
you-
prison shank out of a bag of chips. That's who I want to reproduce with.
Seriously.
Ding, 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 ding,
okay,
ding.
let's say that because at the very least, that sounds difficult. Buying meth is by its very nature not difficult. Once you found the person with meth, if you have money, you've bought it.
Kids, are
You've
you
bought it.
learning? You taking notes?
Yeah. If you could bargain that meth dealer down and you've got like a serious discount on meth, maybe
Listen,
that's street
Matt,
smarts.
my motherfucking dad listens to this, so can we not talk about motherfucking meth?
Why are you talking about your motherfucking dad?
I'm just kidding. I was trying to make a joke about how crude saying motherfucking is over talking about meth.
How do you think motherfucking became such a part of our culture and our
It's
language?
probably actually happening.
Just a lot of
lot
people
of motherfucking.
having sex
Yikes.
with mothers. I mean, other than
Yikes.
dads. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, my dad is my motherfucker.
Well, you know what we should do? We should call a local priest and ask him.
What about my
Can we get a
rabbi?
priest on the phone?
Let's ask a rabbi.
Let's ask a rabbi.
Ask a rabbi.
That's a great segment.
You know, Ask a Ninja was pretty popular on YouTube. I feel like Ask a Rabbi would be the next step.
I would rather do Ask My Cancer because my Cantor Ellis.
Okay, for a second I
Wow,
thought you
I
said
thought you
ask
said
my
my
cancer.
cancer, yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, that's an announcement.
What's a cantor?
I
A
wish
cantor is
they're the chanter. The cantor is the chanter. They do all of the singing, the Baruch Atah Adonai, like that stuff.
Eloheinu
Melech
melech
haolam.
haolam.
That's my
I
favorite.
just saw Steve go to fall asleep.
Absolutely
And I
went to
think
a
you
totally
felt
different
it
place.
feels like he fell asleep for 10 years.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
It sounded like, I love that guy's part in The Lion King.
Ask a Rabbi is a
I
real
hate
show. Ask a Rabbi with Rabbi Asher Mesa on Debate Talk for You Radio.
So it's been done. We're gonna have to think of something new.
Yeah.
Don't worry, kids. We'll come up with something
Can we
new.
just say book smart versus street smart, to go back to that?
To
2 plus
reproduce?
2 is not gonna help you hail a cab.
Could help you Hail Mary, though.
Wait. That doesn't make it any less important as a skill.
And I'd barely call that book smart.
Yeah.
That's just, I mean,
That's common sense.
that's looking at your hands.
Yeah, it's like, wait a second.
That's
I got
looking at
2
you,
of these,
kid.
right? And I got 2 of these.
2 more, so...
But then together,
No, but actually,
Two
people
words.
that
That's 2 twos.
people that excel in any sort of STEM program are what we need on this earth. So you're
science,
absolute
technology.
engineering
Engineering.
and math, mathematics.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Nailed it. Yeah.
Academia nuts.
This is why I'm not reproducing.
I want
Oh,
to start a
good.
podcast real quick. I want to pitch this idea to you
Pitch
guys.
it.
I want to start a podcast where everybody has internal microphones that they insert rectally,
Sure.
Interesting.
and it's kind of
Why?
like what all of our sounds inside are.
So is it playing... Is that just the podcast?
That's it.
So that's really more like ASMR
Yeah.
than like a
Maybe. I mean, there's
podcast.
no whispering.
No, well,
But
I
it's
mean,
like
You know what's
grumble.
inside
silent
of me?
but deadly is a butt whisper. If you're
It is a
being
butt
clear.
whisper. If they put that inside of me, it would be the California Raisin Band.
Hell yeah, in there.
Okay.
Great.
Can we quickly talk about? Steve and I were talking about this.
What?
That's racist.
The California Raisins
Is so racist.
Oh, what? Because they're jazz or like Motown
Just
musicians with huge lips.
Take a
It's
look at them.
because
Just
they
take a look
made-
at them.
Yeah.
They made the very dark purple raisins black guys.
It's
That's what they
fucked
did.
up.
They
It's
turned them into
basically
black
what
guys.
they are. Yeah.
So it wouldn't be racist if it was white dudes voicing them? Let's
No.
ask that question.
No, it would still be racist.
Now
it
I
would be
feel
even
racist
more
the way
Because
they
racist.
look.
yeah, because we're talking about not the voices, we're talking about the caricature.
Yeah.
We're talking
Let's
about
take away the lips
and the songs that they're singing
and the songs that they're singing and just
So-
give them cool sunglasses.
So
Because
they're
look at those
just
sunglasses.
they're like raisins now.
So now they're just like greaser raisins.
or they're just nondescript,
Raisins with
anthropomorphic
sunglasses.
raisins.
With sunglasses. Kind of like Cool Spot.
I feel weird now because the raisins scared me as a kid. Now I
get
fucking-
it.
Now I
I
fucking
really
like
like California
raisins.
Raisin.
They were
Whoa,
scared.
that's why they scared you?
No, not because of that. It's because they were just talking raisins. And
Sam,
that was
did you
really
did the
scary.
television program Family Matters ever scare you?
No.
No?
it
Okay.
didn't,
I
no.
just checking.
How do you feel about Cool Spot, Sam? Do you remember Cool Spot?
No, I don't know what
You
that
know
is.
what kind of got my grill this morning?
What?
So I'm gonna put out a title into the world right now,
Okay.
into the podcast
Okay.
world, and then I want to know who maybe knows what this is.
Okay.
It's something called HR Pufnstuf.
Yes.
I know the name.
Sid and Marty Krofft.
Yeah, so I know you know, Matt, because
Yeah.
we talked about it earlier, but I
Yeah.
want to know who listening to this podcast knows what HR Pufnstuf is, because earlier today I read that they're creating a new HR Pufnstuf show on Nickelodeon,
Which doesn't make any sense.
because apparently there's a show.
Is it going to be animated?
I don't know.
Because like the live action with like the puppet suit stuff, that would be way strange.
Well, let me try
for
to
them.
explain what HR Pufnstuf is to
Yeah,
those of
yeah,
you
yeah,
that are
yeah.
completely fucking clueless. Basically, it's a 19
Penguins that are
no,
in
it's
human
a,
resources.
It's a 70s psychedelic as shit mindfuck bonkers television show.
How have I not seen that?
I know,
Or-
that's why I'm very surprised you've never seen it. It's the most drug-fueled, acid trippy fucking bananas show you will ever see in your life. It's so fucking fueled by acid that it's terrifying.
It's like the banana splits times 10.
Wait, so this is for children?
it's for
Yeah,
children.
for
yeah.
children.
and you've
It's-
watched
it's-
it recently.
Well, no, not recently, but
within,
I
like-
remember. Okay, so
yeah.
when I was a teenager and a little bit younger, Nickelodeon would play something called Nick at Night, which you all know now shows like fucking Roseanne and like Everybody Loves Raymond.
Right, and it used to
But
be
when
like
I
I
was a
Dream of
kid-
Jeannie and Bewitched.
Yes,
and
when I was a kid, it
Brady
was
Bunch.
Bewitched,
Dick Van
Brady
Dyke.
Bunch, Dick Van Dyke, Newhart, Rhoda, and even going so far back as to do a little bit of Mary Tyler Moore Show. But every once in a while, in the later hours, they would show some of the ridiculous Sid and Marty Krofft stuff. And Sid and Marty Krofft are the guys that created these fucking crazy psychedelic
they
shows.
did The Land of the Lost.
They did Land of the Lost. They did Lidsville. They did the Bugaloos. They did
yeah.
they did Electra Woman and Dyna Girl, which
Hannah Hart and Grace Helbig
Helbig
did.
remade
Yeah.
as a digital show, which I don't think has come out yet. But
Is it like actually a show or was it just that one short?
no, it was a show.
Oh,
It was a show where these girls were like normal, everyday girls, and by day, and then by night they were superheroes.
Now, was the banana splits them or is,
No, I don't
that's
think
something
so.
else?
I don't
But you
think
know
so.
what that is, right?
Yes, I do know what the Banana Splits is. A
That
bunch
was
of
like
people
a
in
crazy
costumes.
people in costume animal band, and they like
Yes.
have weird like psychedelic music videos where they're
Yes.
sliding up and down slides.
Yes.
They'd air it on Cartoon Network at midnight.
Hang on, talk slower. I'm almost done.
They'd air it at Cartoon Network
There it is.
at midnight.
Anyway, so the HR Pufnstuf was it took place in this imaginary world, and there was like a witch named Witchy Poo, and Sigmund and the Sea Monsters was another Sid and Marty Krofft
That is
show.
another one of theirs,
But let me
yeah.
tell you how fucked up these Sid and Marty Krofft guys were. The show Lidsville, literally about hats, talking, walking hats
Okay.
that live in a city.
They live in a pineapple under the sea.
No, they live in a
No.
hat town.
But we would never have something like SpongeBob without those shows.
Perhaps not.
Perhaps
I'm
not.
just saying,
Perhaps.
most cartoons that I watched as a child definitely fueled my need to consume hallucinogens.
Sure.
Really?
Like SpongeBob SquarePants. I mean, when I did try acid for the first time, I felt like I was living in a pineapple under the sea.
Interesting.
Well, wasn't it always the rumor that the guy who created that show did it while on heavy drugs? Like
Who
that's
now?
when he came up
You
with
talking
it.
about SpongeBob?
Yeah, that he came up with it while on LSD.
I don't know that story.
That was what everyone was saying, like back in 8th grade, when no one would know.
do you guys like conspiracy theories?
Yes.
Okay, do you guys know of Squidward's suicide? No. You ever watch that? Okay, so there's this like tale that before episodes air,
Can we
for
turn off
TV
the
shows,
lights? Hang
that'd
on.
Be fun.
Yeah, can we bring the lights down?
Where's the
but-
campfire?
Can we dim the lights in post?
Can we throw a little sugar on
in
that
post,
fire to
you
make it go?
Okay, so before they air episodes, they show it to the staff.
Yeah.
And the tale goes that they show this
Wait.
one episode.
Submitted for the approval
Of the Midnight Society.
I call this story,
Story,
The Tale of Squidward's Suicide. Ghost Ham.
Ghost hams.
Ghost Ham.
Ghost ham.
Ghost Ham.
Ghost ham. So they screen the episode, and something horrible played. It's like you're watching an episode. It takes a turn. Yeah, I'll explain the episode in a second, but the audio cuts out. There's images spliced into it, and people like the executives who are watching it, they like start screaming, and they're like, "What the hell's happening?" They try to cut the footage. They cut the footage, and they try to figure out what happened. They think somebody who was fired like went in and just fucked with it, just to fuck with people,
Oh,
like because of it.
cool.
But then somebody leaked it online, and you know this is just fun conspiracy things. It's just some dude being a dick and like making like fun internet rumors. But basically, it starts out with it's an episode. Squidward's going to play his recorder. Do you guys watch or clarinet?
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
and he plays his
Clarinet.
clarinet at a concert. He's super nervous, goes up, and when he starts playing, all of a sudden it cuts the audience, and there's no sound, and all of their eyes are dead with red pupils staring up at him. He's playing. He's horrible, and then you can hear crying in the background. He stops. The crowd starts booing him and then laughing maniacally. Not fun SpongeBob, but like horror
Dark.
movie. Yeah, and like
Have
he
you
starts
seen this?
crying. I've watched clips of it. It's very hard to find. But basically, it leads to him going home and like all these dark thoughts are happening. And then there's like there's interspliced cuts of murders in it,
Like actual murders?
actual murders. That's the part that's really freaky. And there are details that I'm like going to leave out because it gets really, really graphic. But at the end of it, he ends up hanging himself. And there's like no music, no sound, and it's just weeping. And Squidward hangs himself.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it now.
Well, let's take a look.
Hey, let's cut to a clip.
Let's take a clip.
Cut to a clip.
You
I
know,
hope it's that guy with the poop coming out of his mouth that they keep using on SourceFed.
No, we cut to a clip. There's like 4 of them in that video that run around at the
Have
end,
you
right?
seen the Doc Brown one? The one that Owen. I don't think Owen's put it in yet. He's gearing up some more cut to a clips.
Oh, I love the deer
good.
screaming one. That's one of my
can
favorites.
I just say real
Yeah.
quick
Found
before we
it.
do it, before we look at
we
it?
can't watch it on here, though.
Can we
Why?
wait
podcast.
before we do this? My biggest takeaway from this entire thing was ghost ham.
Ghost
And now
ham, yeah, that's
I
mine
really
too.
want a ghost ham T-shirt.
Yeah, right?
Ghost
This
ham.
episode
Cool.
brought to you, of course, by
By
Strenson's
Strenson's
Ghost,
Ghost ham.
Yeah, buy it. Don't cook it. It's already cooked.
Oh, yeah.
It's so dead.
Long dead.
Yeah.
If you're worried about not being able to touch it, that's okay. It is a ghost.
And it is there, by the way, so don't try to get your money back.
Ooh, no, you still have it.
You always have it.
Let's watch this. Though.
It's always been
Can we?
here.
We can't watch it on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll watch it after.
It's an
though.
audio podcast.
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll watch
a lot
it
of people watch it
afterwards.
live, but yeah, we'll watch it. We'll watch it later.
Aw.
Yeah.
I know, kids. I'm sorry.
We'll put it on the
But this isn't
projector.
the
We'll all get in the
only-
nude and we'll cuddle.
This
Yeah.
isn't the only like lost or banned episode I've ever heard of. Like, have you guys heard of the last Angry Beavers episode?
You
I've
know.
heard that there's something fucked up with it, right?
Yeah. The last. So the folks who were producing the Angry Beavers.
Great show.
Great show. They found out.
It's my favorite porn.
They found out that they were being
It's my favorite
canceled.
feminist group.
They found out that they were being canceled like a few months before the final season was to be delivered.
Right.
So the last episode of the show that they produced is apparently all about the Nickelodeon executives who canceled them and like introduces new characters that are meant to be those people and just rips them to shreds over canceling
That's
the show.
cool.
Like
and it's just-
literally, or
no,
Okay.
well, I've never seen it. I've just heard that it's like it was so screwed up and so obviously pointedly about them that it never got released.
I love fucked up stories about like kids
There
shows.
is definitely
right?
a-
It's like,
You have told me so many
oh my god,
conspiracies.
the
What are the
Hey
other
Arnold
ones?
one is great.
What's the Hey Arnold
Which one is that?
Okay, so the creator of the show, I'm blanking on his name. Do you know the creator of Hey
Oh
Arnold?
man, no, I think
feel
it's
like
a
you'd know.
couple. It's a couple.
There's one dude though that's his name is always tacked on there. It could be a couple, but the man
look it up.
involved in it, he apparently the story goes is that he actually stayed in a boarding house because that's where the story takes place. It's in a boarding house. That's where he lives with his
Right.
grandparents.
He lives
showed up
in the attic.
and he
kind
lives
of.
in the attic. And the creator stayed in a boarding house in New York. And he met a kid with the same disease that Hey Arnold has, that Stewie has. It's like a dysmorphia thing that happens to your head because in your brain
Craig
gets messed
Bartlett.
up. Craig Bartlett. There you go. And again, this is just fun rumors, whatever. And he witnessed everything. Like the grandparents took care of him, and there was like it's very gross and messed up, and all like the tenants there were very strange, and like it's not out of this world. It was just a weird place for this kid to be growing up. So he promised the kid that he would do something that could get him out of the situation because it was obviously a very bad situation for this kid who ended up being the inspiration for Hey Arnold on the show. But what happened was he made all the money on that show and ignored the kid from like then on. Like that's like the horror story version of this is that he ignored and just left the kid and probably the kid died because he had like a brain thing. They had the
Wow.
disease. Again, it's awful. They're awful theories that probably came from just like the dark corners of the internet, and they did
Did
basically.
you read
So-
that in Highlights?
yes, in Highlights
It was in a
magazine, right next to
There's
the
an article in Highlights about it.
yeah. I love
I've
Highlights.
always wanted to read or hear interviews with the people who created the cartoons we grew up with. I remember reading like a 2-part interview with the creator of Doug on Split Sider a couple years ago that was really good. But I really would love to know if that's true.
I don't think it is. Like when
That can't be.
It's so horrible. You know, like
What's
Is that
the
a-
Doug thing?
Well,
Yeah.
no, there's nothing like there's no
Weird.
thing about Doug. It was just a very nice interview with a very nice guy.
So you're just saying you like to learn the story behind Doug? or something.
Yeah, well, I want to learn the story about all these shows because, like, I feel like there's a culture for it now where obscure people or people who create obscure media get interviewed where it never happened before. Like, there was no forum for it before podcasts.
yeah, you wouldn't
and
interview
blogs.
the guy who created Doug or Hamill
No,
back in the 90s, early 2000s.
what magazine would that have gone in?
Nick magazine.
Yeah, and that wouldn't have been like a real interview.
I wouldn't have read that.
Yes, Steve, you look primed to say something.
Do you guys know about the Wizard of Oz?
The person
the
hanging in
person
the back.
hanging in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you know about it?
I've seen it.
I forget. It's like the director's son or it's like a lighting guy or a gaffer that
The thought is that someone committed suicide on the set of The Wizard of Oz, and their feet, you can see their feet hanging from a tree in the background in the film. But I heard that that's untrue.
I can
And it's
tell you
actually just-
which,
There's a
I can
clip
tell
of
you
it.
which
there is
scene
a clip
it
of it, but it's actually not.
It's
Is
not
it
a
fake?
person. It's not real.
Or it's like a puppet or something,
The
but
weird
it's
thing
it's
is-
one of those fun urban legends.
The weird thing is that there's nothing else that should be in that scene. But it's the scene after they meet the Tin Man and they walk off, and when they're walking off in the background because it's
You
just
see like somebody swing in.
and
Yes.
they're like they're kind of just swaying in the background. But when they said they did the digital re-release, they edited him out
really?
of it and they put
Because-
something else back
just
there.
because they didn't want people to keep talking about it, because I know it's
Maybe.
not.
Well,
I don't
it's
know. I like
also-
reading
suicide.
conspiracies.
It's also
so
potentially a screw up. Like it seems like to me, it was like somebody who was on like the lighting rig who slipped.
Or it was like just some puppet or set dressing or something.
Right, that fell.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Also, it's in keeping in the film world of like urban legends and cool things in movies that can't be explained. There's this movie called Three Men and a Little Baby.
Three
it's just
Men
a
and a
baby.
Baby.
There's- It's not a
And
little
then
Three Men
baby.
and a
I'm
Little
sorry, I
Baby
saw
is
the
wee
the
little
sequel.
baby.
I'm sorry,
Unless
I
it's
saw
a
the
giant baby.
I watched the Hispanic version of the film, which is very loosely translated to Three Men and One Little Baby.
No way. I would buy that.
No, but you know what? I was told that the Spanish version of Home Alone is called Mi Pobre Angelito, which is my poor angel.
I'm sure that's what
Yeah.
the mom was thinking when she realized that she
My
left it at home.
mi pobre angelito. Also, I love how you say enchanted in Spanish. I would always call it by its Spanish name, Encantada. Does anybody want to watch that Disney movie? What's it called? Encantada.
I'm sorry, I don't want to be a spell that's cast on me. I don't want to have a spell.
El
cast.
libro de la noche. Like the you ever
In the
seen
heat of the night?
Pan's Labyrinth?
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, in Three Men and One Tiny Child,
And a little
Whatever that
baby.
is called.
tiny little baby.
Three Men and the smallest baby on earth.
I'd watch that.
Me too. Three Men. And the
I would watch Three Men and Inch High Private Eye. That's what I would watch.
So anyway, in this film, Three Men and a Baby, there is a ghost child apparently in the background.
I'm sorry,
through
wait.
some-
What if there was an ant baby instead of an ant man?
What?
Instead of Ant-Man,
Like instead of Ant-Man,
It
it's
was
Ant
Ant
Baby.
Baby.
I mean,
that'll be the third one.
I
Because
mean-
it's Ant-Man and the
That
Wasp,
movie
and
would
then
be-
Ant-Man, the Wasp, and Ant Baby.
but that movie would be so boring.
There's
Like,
actually a
what
movie
would
called,
actually happen? It would just
There's
be
a-
You know what
there's
would
a
happen?
foreign
It would
film
get
called
stepped on.
Ant Boy, and he's a superhero.
Ant Boy.
Ant Boy.
I'm so sorry for
sorry.
interrupting.
no, but Brie
Continue.
and I should make Ant Baby. Let's write the script to that.
Oh, I thought you were saying let's make an
Let's
ant
make an
baby.
ant baby.
And
Let's
I
make
was
an ant
like,
baby.
all right.
All right. We'll talk about that later. So in Three Men and a Baby, there's a child. There's a scene where in the background there's a child looking through some curtains. And it's terrifying.
God's sake.
Terrifying. It's literally a young boy.
Wait,
and his
Leonard-
face is, you can see his face through the curtains in the background of a scene.
And it's not like the director's son ran
It's
around.
gotta be.
Well, there was this urban legend that's like it's the boy that committed suicide from that window, and you know,
No.
a boy died in the apartment they shot in, and there he is. But it really is just like someone's kid ran over and hid behind the curtain or some shit.
Or somebody played a prank and put a poster
Yeah.
back there.
Can
or
we
something.
no,
just
it's a
say-
real kid back there.
Kids
Ooh, that
are.
got-
It's
that got a little
creepy. It
scared.
was-
That got me a little
It was
scared.
When
Yeah.
I was a teenager and we were upset, my cousin and my brother and I were obsessed
With that movie.
No, we were fine. Oh, of course,
No.
we love the film. Great acting. Steve Gutenberg is unparalleled. But no, my cousin and my brother and I would watch. We were obsessed with looking for like paranormal, unexplained happenings in movies, or like
Are there a lot?
Oh yeah, and there's like flub ups in movies. Like Star Wars has a whole bunch of scenes where people hit their heads on shit, and it's so funny looking.
That
and-
is so funny when the stormtrooper.
yeah. And like Lando, the first time you see Lando Calrissian in Return of the Jedi, he hits his fucking head on a wall, and he's front and center, and
Yeah.
it is in the final film. He hits his head.
I totally. You know what? I
He's wearing that
understand.
It's the reveal of
That's
Lando.
what, and I understand that because when we were doing the Lizard Wizards, that was one of the most difficult things in the entire world to
No, you
act
guys
with
did
that
amazing.
with those masks on.
But like he's not wearing a full latex lizard mask. He's got literally like
Helmet.
a tiny helmet with a little piece that covers his mouth.
His face, his eyes have full
his eyes
range
are
of motion.
full range. Anyway, so there's the 3 minute little baby, and also here's the one 3 minute one baby little one. There's a okay. So here's a fun one, not a scary one for
Okay,
all of you that are like, I don't
okay,
want to hear
okay,
scary shit, and they're changing it and listening to some other dumb podcast.
this isn't
Or
scary.
listening to Test
Oh,
Tube
it just-
The kid in the curtain is scary.
Kids are scary in general.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so wait.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I've got one more really quick, and then
Then we'll
we'll
talk
just-
about kids terrifying
We'll
the
move
shit out
on
of
from
us.
movies
All
because I'm
right.
sure you guys are like,
You guys talk about movies every
I've never heard of this
movie. That's a great Eric Cartman
All right.
impression, Eric Cartman.
Thank you, baby.
Thanks, man.
Okay, so that was a good one too, Bree. A good
Thanks.
impression of that kid down the street I used to live near. So at the end of Back to the Future Trace, when Marty and Doc they're saying goodbye to each other.
Jules and Vern.
Jules and Vern are in the train, and it's a very nice scene. It's a climax. It's the climax of the film. It's like Doc, the future's what you make of it. It's a beautiful, touching scene. It's the end of the movie. There's a kid in the train, one of the children, Jules or Vern or whatever. And there's this beautiful shot. You know about this, Sam?
I think I know.
There's this
it
beautiful
is.
shot where it's like pushing in on Doc as he's like talking to Jennifer about time travel or whatever. And the child to the left of Doc,
He's one of his kids.
one
right?
of the kids, well, one of the kids playing his children,
Yeah.
starts pointing at his penis in the scene, and is totally pointing and pointing and pointing and looking off camera and going like that.
Like I have to pee pee.
I think okay, so the kid had to go pee, and they left it in the fucking movie.
The kid pissed himself.
But I mean, I don't know, but I love it.
I feel like that
doesn't
was-
he like grab?
No,
at
he's
his-
just pointing at
Hey,
it.
pointing.
do you think we can get an interview with that kid
I
today?
would love to.
I feel like it's got to be one of Robert
Really? 'Cause
Zemeckis' kids. I feel like it's got to be his kids or Bob
Hold
Gale's
on.
kids.
Can I just do the interview really quick? This is exactly
okay.
how it would go. Hey man, so you were in Back to the Future 3. What were you doing pointing penis when you were a child in a film? What are you doing? This is the answer. I had to pee. Oh, okay. Thanks for coming, man. See ya. Thank you. It's exclusive.
Can I get it right back?
Yeah. We'll Uber you out.
I really want to see that clip.
I know. It's so great. Anyone can pull it up on the YouTubes. Just look for it. And then, actually, I do have one more. In Teen Wolf, in the movie Teen Wolf, this is an urban legend as well, and it's actually not confirmed, but it's actually not super denied that it is what it is. But there's a scene in the basketball court when everybody gets up and they're cheering, and I think it's the final shot that wins the basketball game, and there is a man with his penis out in the crowd as the audience is cheering, and it is absolutely visible.
No.
100%
never
that
seen
man's
Teen
penis
Wolf.
is out of his pants.
I've never seen Teen Wolf, and now I want to see it
it's
just
the
to
best.
see if that's
it's
there.
so great. Are we looking at Doc and the kid?
You just started playing the
short
clip.
clip. It's a
Okay.
very
Okay,
short
can we
clip.
say what
Put
the title
volume
of it
up 'cause I
is?
wanna hear it.
Because
What's the title?
The
It's
title is
amazing.
Creepy Kid from Back to the Future 3 points to
It's a little creepy.
his flux capacitor.
That is funny. Wait, is it the blonde one? Oh my god! If you guys, yes, it's the guy in the front. It's the kid.
It's
in
the kid up front, yeah.
Oh my god!
What does this mean, Doc? I always hated this scene because it's like, you ever pay attention to time travel shit, Jennifer? Why did you be here?
There. Oh yeah, he's motioning.
Yeah. Look.
I think that's all. I think that's all you see.
I think that's it.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
so
it.
It's just
for the
one
people,
time?
for the
that
people,
actually didn't
yeah.
look like he had to pee.
and
Just look at it one more time.
And
Okay.
the audio podcast people, the kid motions to someone to come get
To
him,
come 'cause he's
and
got
he
a
points to
pee-pee.
his penis. That's
Let's-
so funny.
He's like, come here.
Come here, look at my dick.
Come here, look at this dick.
Look at
Yeah,
this.
that child.
It's a small child.
Okay, so
It's a creepy
what were
young
you gonna
boy.
say about children, Bree? While I pull up the
Just
Teen
that
Wolf
they're
clip?
creepy. Kids are
Kids
creepy.
aren't that creepy.
Kids are kinda creepy.
Okay,
Kids
they're
are
the
kinda creepy.
creepiest villains ever. Like in any horror movie,
You know,
like
The
The
Omen.
Omen.
Yeah.
You
Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn.
Mommy, or hold on, what's that one?
Not Mommy
There's
Dearest.
one with a little girl.
Yeah,
It's a-
Rhoda.
Orphan.
Is that the girl's name?
Exorcist?
There's a black and white movie.
Yeah,
called,
no,
like,
that's what I'm.
Orphan.
No.
Oh, the bad seed.
The bad seed.
That's
Yeah.
it.
She's terrifying. This little girl, the mom's she's like, Mommy, what would you give me for a basket of kisses? And her mom's like, why, Rhoda, I'd give you a basket of hugs. And then she makes the mom shoot herself
Okay,
in
here's
the
the
head.
Teen Wolf.
How
penis.
did she do that?
Here's the Teen Wolf penis shot.
All right, here we go.
Oh my god. There's no.
Where?
Where?
Hang on.
Oh!
Did it happen?
Hang on.
He's doing it.
It's gonna point it out.
No way. I don't.
He's covering it with his jacket.
no,
No,
I
he
saw
had
it.
it out
See
at
it?
the top.
Yeah, I saw it.
No way.
Look,
There it is.
No, it's just open, but
It's
you
just
don't see any
open.
penis.
he was playing with it.
No, he was closing it up.
So
He
his
was
pants broke open. His
sealing
pants
it up.
broke
Look at
open.
him. He's
Oops. Wait. No, he's playing with it now.
he,
Oh, come on. He's not playing.
I think he's covering
Zip
it.
up. It's a zip up.
I don't know what.
I don't know what that
was.
sound was.
It's terrifying.
What ghosts are in that machine?
I love little movie bloopers.
Me too.
There's a whole bunch more. I can't think of them though.
Good. I mean, what?
Do you remember? Like, I honestly, I can't even remember. Like, we've done so many bloopers videos.
Oh,
I can barely remember any of them.
I remembered one more.
What?
In The Lion King.
Oh yeah, the sex one.
Yeah.
Oh, Disney bloopers are the best. On the cover of Little Mermaid, the main poster.
there's a
cock
penis.
on
There's
the-
a
on
penis.
the-
There's a
on the
penis.
Castle.
It got pulled. And in fact, I went to someone's house
The cock
for a
got
party. Though the poster, they re-released the poster without such a phallic penis tower. But I went to a friend's house for a party, and in her bedroom, she had the original poster that had the penis
And she knows?
tower on it. Yeah. Oh, she of course. Yeah,
And
that's why she had
colored
it.
in specifically.
Oh no! Don't ruin that. That's a collector's item. But we were. I was glorified. I was.
Have you
absolutely?
heard
I loved it.
the weird audio in Aladdin? The really
Yeah, take your
weird.
clothes off.
Yeah, good teenager, take off your clothes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Aladdin.
not what they're saying.
Yeah,
though.
well, but I mean, like
wait,
when you
what?
listen to it,
Whoa,
yeah, okay.
whoa,
Aladdin
whoa.
comes to the balcony. The
he
tiger
says something
starts
like,
to
"Come
for
here
him,
close."
something like
yeah,
that.
That's what
maybe.
it
When the tiger's
is.
coming and Jasmine
in
looks
close.
out from her little curtain thing, it sounds like Aladdin says, "Good teenager, take off your clothes."
Instead, he's saying, "Good tiger, come here close."
Oh yeah, that's what he's saying.
Maybe.
Good
That's
tiger,
not
come
what
here
I'm gonna
close.
Well, what
hear.
about the priest with a boner in The Little Mermaid?
That's
for
sure.
100%.
Oh yeah, that's totally a boner.
That is a boner.
Oh, yeah.
But
He's
then
got a boner.
again, that Ursula. I mean,
She's yeah.
That ass,
Fox.
that.
Yeah.
She's a
Ooh,
cat.
that fried calamari.
She's a catch. She's a catch.
Put a little wasabi on there.
She's a catch.
You don't like
Clean
seafood.
off my chopsticks.
have you guys
Yeah.
ever had not like calamari, but straight up octopus?
Definitely
Yes.
don't like any of that.
Ooh, it's
You
so
don't like octopus?
good.
I don't
No.
like seafood, but I like calamari.
Here's my thing about seafood, and I was watching Brie have seafood for lunch today, and I wanted to go on my diatribe again about how shrimp and oysters and all that are basically the fucking cockroaches of the ocean.
Don't
Yeah,
do
the
this. Don't do
delicious
this.
cockroaches.
Don't do this.
I know,
to me.
but I'm
I don't
telling
wanna-
you, man,
I don't
that's
wanna
what they
hear
are.
it. I don't want to hear
they're
it.
bugs.
Do you de-poop your shrimp before you eat it?
You
or?
gotta
Yes,
de-poop
you
them,
gotta
but you don't
de-poop
know.
that shrimp.
Yeah, but some places don't de-poop.
Kids, if you didn't know, that line on the back of the shrimp is
Yeah, that
Fecal
vein when
matter.
you're deveining them, that's all poo-poo.
Yeah, that's what I want to do with my food before I eat it. I want to de-vein it and get the poop out
Oh, yeah,
before I
you-
put it in my mouth.
But you
Wouldn't
gotta do that
wanna
to
make sure
all
you got
animals?
the poop out?
I know, but that's what makes it that's what's grosser than anything. Like when I was a kid and I would eat like chicken.
You eat
the
Thanksgiving
worst part-
turkey.
I know, but the worst part of it when I was a kid was like biting into like a vein or a ligament or some sort of like fucking
what part of the
Something
chicken
you
are
mean
you
something
eating?
that reminds you that it's an animal.
something that reminds me it was definitely a thing that loved life.
Yeah.
You don't know that.
Well,
You could've
I
been
don't
in a
know that. You're
factory
right. I don't
farm.
want
Yeah,
to
probably
generalize
didn't.
how
Yeah.
happy the animal was.
Yeah.
In
I
fact,
was
if
gonna-
it was from KFC, it definitely wasn't
It was
happy.
not
No.
happy. In fact, it was grown in a lab.
Yeah, without beaks.
Double
really
muscles.
sad.
It's real cute. I remember
Disgusting.
those zines the punk kids used to pass out in my town that had like
A zine?
bootleg
Zines?
photos stolen
Homemade
from-
magazines.
Yeah, it's like before blogs were a thing. This is what you would do. You would send out a zine to all your subscribers. It was the original YouTube.
Well, it wouldn't even be sent out. Some
You
of
would
them.
mail
Some
it.
of them you would have to go to a certain place
And pick
and
them
get
up.
it. It would
Oh,
be
wow.
like some
Like a record
underground
store or
location, a record
something.
store. Yeah.
An old thing in old cartoons that I remember, like a trope they always used, was somebody got a pirate radio station and they would have their own radio station in their garage or something. And I always wanted to do
pump
that.
up the volumes all
yeah,
about that.
but no, that doesn't matter anymore.
Or the boat
Radio
that
Free
rocked.
Roscoe.
I had a book that was about Disney. It was called Mouse Under Glass, and it was about all of the secret things hidden in Disney movies.
Oh,
It
that's
wasn't
cool.
about a mouse stuck.
It definitely was not.
That's
no,
good.
it was.
What
it-
about the mouse and the motorcycle?
Ooh,
Oh,
that's terrifying.
a
That
great-
stop
Wasn't his
motion.
name Ralph? Or was the
Maybe.
kid?
That shit was terrifying. I remember being terrified of the cat, the stop motion cat. Anyway, so the book that I had is called Mouse Under Glass. And the reason why it's called that is because animated films are they use a pane of glass to what do they use the glass
paint
for?
on.
Do they paint on it?
That's how they added
Well,
the
they
color
use cell
originally.
animation as well,
Originally, they would draw out the cell and then they would use glass to paint backgrounds.
Okay, you're
and
right.
foreground
Okay, that
elements.
makes sense because that's what matte paintings and shit are. They're on
Exactly.
glass.
So they'd paint onto the actual cell, then they'd have a pane of glass behind it for the background and in front of it for the foreground.
Exactly. And Disney perfected the 4-pane
Mm-hmm.
technology that made it look all cool and 3D in a way. God, my animation knowledge is a bit dusty. I gotta blow off the dust, the fuller's earth. Anyway, so the book told all the it talked about all of the crazy shit hidden in Disney movies. Like, did you know that in Roger Rabbit, there's several things in Roger Rabbit, but in one of the scenes in Roger Rabbit, one of several, there's a do you remember when Eddie Valiant is in Toontown? Do you guys remember?
At
Yes.
the when he
It's like
drives in
towards the
there?
end, he's
Yeah.
trying to find Jessica, and so he follows her into Toontown.
Right. He's got the cartoon gun.
He's got
and-
the cartoon gun, and he's like, there's this gross version of Jessica that's like chasing him around. At one point, Eddie is in a yeah. There's a scene where he goes into a bathroom to hide from her, and there's no floor in the bathroom, and then he falls, and then that's where Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse are, and blah blah blah. But in the bathroom, on the wall, in the theatrical version of Roger Rabbit, Michael Eisner's phone number was on that bathroom wall.
That's hysterical.
And it would say like for a good time call or something, and it was his actual personal phone number.
Good.
He was very pissed off. They painted it out for the home video release that was not there. And even more controversial, there's a scene where Jessica Rabbit is in Benny the Cab, and it gets hit by something, or they shoot out one of the tires or something. Yeah, she spins out of the car, and there's one frame of animation where they painted and drew a vagina onto Jessica Rabbit.
She's a cartoon.
Because animators can be gross.
I mean, they can be, but that's a cartoon.
It's not even gross. It's like they're just bored.
There's also the scene that's been, I think it's been cut. It was cut for the DVD release and since, where it's Daffy Duck and Donald Duck doing dueling pianos at the bar, and Daffy calls or Donald calls Daffy the N-word.
I think that's an urban legend.
No, that's real. It was on the Laserdisc release.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You have your Laserdisc?
No, in high school, we had a film class, and he had a Laserdisc player, and he
the Laserdisc is also where you can see the Jessica Rabbit vagina.
He played us the movie on Laserdisc, and it's there.
Wow,
it's
shit.
horrifying. Yeah.
I wonder if that's another case of the take your clothes off thing, where it definitely is not what he
No,
said.
I legitimately. I'm gonna pull it up right now.
I'm curious about that one because I haven't heard that one.
Wait, we can't have the N-word on this show.
No, we can't.
We'll play it later.
But yeah, all sorts of cool stuff in Disney movies like that. The priest boner in Little Mermaid, the sex, the thing that says sex when when
it's like the clouds when he's disappearing.
When he lays down, or when
sex.
Simba lays down on the dandelions and it says sex. But they actually tried to disprove that and said that it says SFX. Because it was the special effects team that made the dandelion
in
effect.
Frozen, they did the same thing when she's first using her powers on when she's singing "Let It Go." She does one burst before she makes something, and it spells either fuck or sex. It spells one of those things.
It might be SFX again as a way for them to be like, shit, we got to keep putting SFX in to cover up this sex thing. It definitely said SFX.
Definitely said
I don't know.
sex.
I don't know, but it's interesting. It's
I want it to just be someone's name.
What nerd
like
is putting
Tyler.
SFX in?
Tyler.
Like Tyler just gets it through.
Yeah.
Tyler Oakley, let it go.
Imagine if in Frozen 2,
I would die.
there's hashtag Happy Birthday Tyler Oakley.
Yeah.
Oh my
I love
God,
it.
that would make me laugh so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, effects artists have it rough. Like, do you know how their business is monetized? Like why there was that big protest a few years ago?
Oh
with all
yeah,
the green screens?
yeah. They weren't getting proper credit for all the work they were doing.
Well, and also they don't get enough money. So like, how effects artists get paid is when a movie is going into production, several effects houses will bid for the contract to work on that movie.
Right.
And it's supposed to take a certain amount of time. So they'll all try to underbid each other so that they get picked and they get to do the work. So whoever has the lowest bid usually wins. But then if a movie goes over time or over budget or the release date gets pushed back, they don't get any more money if they have to work more time. So more often than not, these effects houses these people have already spent all the money that they had been given to work on the project, just living because they thought they would be on another project already. And it ruins people's lives.
That's what happened to the studio that did the effects for Life of Pi.
Exactly, Rhythm
right
and
when it
Hughes.
won. Right?
It won Best Visual Effects and then closed its doors within a month. That's insane.
That sucks.
Well, it's because their business is based on the show. So from show to show, if they don't have another project to do, they're just
if they're still working on a project months after it was supposed to be done because the director doesn't like the work that they're doing and is asking them to redo it, they can't take another project.
Right.
So they're just screwed.
Right.
One of the coolest little nuggets of hidden CGI things that they've done in recent movies, and you can say what you want about the movie. I really like Man of Steel, but what they did in it, and a lot of people I think caught it. But when Superman is getting hit with a gravity gun when they're trying to terraform the planet, whatever. But his face is getting hit with the gravity waves, and it morphs for a second into Christopher Reeve's face,
That's
just for a
cool.
second, and then goes back. So
I didn't see that. I'll have to check it again.
what happened?
I'm sorry. I love this conversation. I love talking movies.
I looked at you the whole time because you're
saw
like,
it.
what? Like I
get it. I've heard this conversation a
sorry.
lot. No, it's totally cool. I was just laughing because I yawned, then you yawned, and I was thinking about one of my biggest pet peeves, which is when people talk while they're yawning.
That's a pet
when they do
peeve?
that.
I love you.
Why?
I hate it.
cute.
Why?
No.
Why?
It bothers me because my entire family did it my entire life to me.
Are they yawning all the time?
Like
Yeah.
intentionally?
Maybe
Like
they
they're
have
always
No,
sleepy?
not intentional. No, they're always just like, what are you going to do?
maybe they have a medical problem.
Well, now you've been...
the more often you do it, it
Wait,
makes it
okay.
hard not to
I want people to
yawn.
comment how many times they yawn because of
Can
that.
I just say-
Hold on a
I
second.
know, I know.
think this is a deeper issue. I think you're associating bad memories with yawns.
No.
And that's not
How
fair.
about
Not
the
fair.
fact that I can have a pet peeve, something that
That's
bothers
true.
me?
You can have a pet peeve.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are some of your pet peeves? This is a good conversation.
Ooh, my
I
pet
like
has
this.
many peeves. She does not like it when we take
Are those
her
the
out
things
of the
down
pen.
by the fur or near the penis and vagina?
Yes. Yeah, she has multiple peeves, and we have to keep them all clean.
Yeah, she doesn't
That's
like
the thing
carrots.
you got to squeeze out because in the rectum.
She's sometimes-
I mean, he's
Okay.
not wrong.
Anyway,
Take care of your pets.
There is an anal gland in your pet's anus
All
that
right,
you need to
Bree,
expel. I
you
don't
were
know if you guys
saying-
know that.
no,
but
the
that's
pet
true.
peeves.
In your puppy.
All right,
And
other
your puppy.
pet peeves?
What is it? What does Maud call them? Pet hate.
Pet hate, yeah.
What is
What
that?
do you pet? What's your pet
It's like
hate?
an Australian thing.
That was the worst
a
Australian.
dint.
No,
Oi,
okay,
oi,
sorry.
doi.
I've talked to other Australians about this. They say dinner. Another word for dinner
Dinner?
is tea. T-E-A.
Yeah.
So like, are you gonna make some tea? Sounds like you're gonna say, I would like to make some tea.
I would love
the
tea.
drink. Yeah, I would love some tea.
I've also heard.
Well,
Is that your
tea
pet
time-
peeve?
That's annoying for me, and I try to just
But isn't tea time effectively dinner time? And then there's
No.
supper. There's tea and then there's supper.
is there? Because
Then
tea
there's
time sounds like
lunch.
time for tea in the afternoon.
No. Well,
I'm
tea
the
time
what?
is like I always thought it was supposed to be like. And tell us once and for all when it's supposed to be, because I always thought it was like 4 p.m.
Does
You have
anyone know the appropriate time for tea
4
time?
p.m.
Anytime, baby.
In this century?
Anytime.
4
it's
p.m.
tea time.
You have tea, you have sandwiches, you have cookies and cakes.
Oh, cookies.
And the cakes.
You know what else I've heard is that dessert in the UK could be called pudding,
Yes.
right? Like even if it's not pudding, but it
Pudding.
is,
Even if it's like
even if it's not.
tiramisu.
Yeah. You ready for You want some pudding? It's time for pudding.
Even like a straight up sheet cake.
Yeah, pudding.
Ew.
I love the phrase. I love sheet cake because
Yeah.
it sounds so industrial. It doesn't sound like food you
No.
should put in your
Okay.
body.
No.
Not
One
at
of
all.
my-
But it's
Sam.
delicious.
One
Sam.
of my pet peeves.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any pet peeves.
One of my pet peeves
I don't think I
is
have pet
being
peeves.
interrupted.
Oh.
Yeah, I hate that shit too.
I
Okay.
don't care if someone interrupts me. Honestly, I don't.
Great.
It never really
Afternoon
bothered
tea,
me.
Sam, is a light meal. This is what I'm thinking of. Typically eaten between 4 and 6 p.m. So it's like tea and cakes and hearts of lettuce, thin bread and butter, and crisp little cakes. And then high tea, also known as meat tea or tea time, refers to the evening meal or dinner of the working class, typically eaten between 5 and 7 p.m. Consists of a hot dish followed by cakes and bread, butter, and jam.
But yeah,
All
but
right,
what's
so
Mr.
I'm
T?
ignorant. I
He
get
pities the
it.
fool who
I
don't
didn't know tea time
how
schedule.
to play around.
It's okay.
What about
Sam.
iced tea?
Ice-T was a rapper, then he became an actor, and now he's
I
a
met him.
mogul.
You met Ice Tea?
On Melrose with Coco, and they were so nice, and they took pictures.
That's
of me.
nice.
That's cool. I've heard they
They were
really
so
cute
in
couple.
love. It was cute.
Did you say they were so in love?
When I met them,
What are
they
they?
seemed so in
Do you think
love.
they're in love now?
I don't know.
I mean, that's just
I don't
their
know.
couple.
Is the
I
show
don't
still
follow
on?
them.
Coupling. This show's fine. It's the only Law and Order show on right now, which is weird. Which is very weird for me.
No, I meant Ice-T and Coco, their show,
Oh,
their reality show.
They have a show?
Yeah, they had a show.
Is it Law and Order?
What's
Yeah.
a show
Okay.
that you're watching right now that you feel like it's your show? Like it's your show and nobody else. Like it's almost
My
like a
biggest pet
Like it's a
peeve.
hidden dream. It's like a hidden show that like only that like
That nobody
You're the
knows
worst.
about.
is that it? Okay,
That's
so you
it
feel
for
like
me.
nobody else watches
Yeah.
it, and you feel like okay,
Yeah,
you're the
it's
worst.
so good.
What's your the
would-
worst?
You're the Worst is a show on
It's
FXX.
and it's about two of the worst people ever, and it's
They have
hilarious.
a lot of shows like that.
They do. They really do. But this one is like, you can't hate them because you know they're the worst. And so, like, the offensive shit they say, you're like, well, yeah, that's what the show is about.
They're
so
people
it's-
who don't want to be in love who wind up falling in love even though they're horrible.
Leaves, what show are you watching that you feel like nobody else is watching?
The Nick on Cinemax,
No
because no
one
one
is
watches
watching that.
Cinemax.
Yeah.
But it's legitimately,
Lee was actually telling me about that.
it was the
last night.
best new show of last year, hands down. Whole thing's directed by Steven Soderbergh. You would never. That's the crazy thing. Like I try never to judge writers anymore because the guy who created the Fargo show on FX, Noah Hawley, he created a show on ABC that was terrible called Generation Y, and another terrible show called The Unusuals. But now he's created this amazing show. The guys who created The Nick. Previously, their only other writing credit together was the movie The Shaggy Dog with Tim Allen.
Oh, wow.
Love
know.
that film. Ed Begley Jr. Yes.
Love my
Love
bagels.
me egg bagels.
Love my
Ed
bagels.
Begley.
I met
Jr.'s
him at a Hugo's,
He's
and
so
he was
nice.
so
Oh my
nice.
God,
nicest-
he seems like
yeah,
he would be the
he's the
nicest
nicest.
person.
He
Unless
said
you hate
he-
the environment. He's like he is a militant
I just love
environmental
him.
activist. He's awesome. But
Let's hear. I want to hear more about what Brie has to say
No,
about
I
it.
was gonna be like gross. So no.
What are you gonna say? You blew him?
Yeah. No.
Cool.
he blew
No.
the bagel?
No.
You blew the bags?
No.
Bag Junes?
No, this was like a while ago, and he came up because I was the group of people that are on YouTube, and he came up to us actually and was like, "My daughter really likes watching the shit that we
Watching
were all
you.
doing together at the time."
Makeup
that was my
tutorials?
gross thing.
Oh, that's not
No.
that gross.
What was it?
The Nick
Vlogging.
The Nick on Cinemax is a
You know what I'm talking
hospital
about.
show
Yeah.
starring Clive
Right, no,
Owen.
I know about it. Yeah.
And it's like I would almost call it a horror show without a monster or a killer.
Let me ask you this though.
Yeah.
Does
People are the
Clive
real
Owen
monsters.
does he do this voice? Clive Owen, I talk like this because I'm hiding my accent.
No, it's a little higher register than that.
Okay. But you
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about. right?
Yeah.
He's definitely hiding his accent.
No, he kind of
Talks like- he's not talking like
doesn't.
this.
Like he's not British, but I don't know, man. It just sounds like him.
Okay.
It just sounds like him.
Because every
And
Clive
he's like-
Owen movie I see him in,
Yeah.
he does that. He does
No,
talks
he's
like
a
this.
brilliant surgeon who is addicted to cocaine.
Cool.
And
just like mine.
yeah,
My surgeon
right?
does that.
And it's just awesome. It's the best directed show on television. It's the best produced show on television. It's so good.
Thanks
Sam?
for real quick. Thanks for reminding me. My dream last night was somebody gave me cocaine, like a little baggie of cocaine,
My
and
cocaine?
your cocaine, and I stuck my pinky in it. I was just shoving it up my nose like all night in
What
my
does that
dream.
say?
What
I
does
don't
that
know.
mean, you
I
think?
think it means I needed to get some cocaine.
Kids, don't do it.
Yeah.
No,
Sam,
actually don't. It's like the
do
worst.
it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Especially
kids.
while your little brains are developing because you after you're 18, then give it a shot.
25.
Then after 25, then go ahead
after
and try it.
60.
Don't do cocaine though.
do
That's
cocaine.
something
There you
that's
go.
like no, just
That's not gonna
don't. It's an
stop 'em. Just be-
expensive,
just be
terrible
careful.
habit that really fucks you up.
Really, it's
Sam?
a budget thing.
What show are you watching
And a health thing.
that you feel like no one else is watching? It's your show. And you
Flash?
honestly feel like no one else is watching.
Arrow.
Do you really feel like no one else is watching The Flash?
You mean that
No one
show
in my
that
household is watching The Flash.
Oh, shit.
Nobody in my
Oh.
family's watching.
half this office watches
Is
it.
that okay? So that's the show you feel like that's your show.
I can't go to everyone on every street corner and talk about it. So yes, it's my show.
That's the show you feel like no one else is watching, and that's your special show right now.
I mean, no, there's not really. It's really hard to invest in new shows with the show that we have, the Superhero Roundup. We have to watch so much, not
Yeah.
complaining in any way, but it's just like it takes up so much time that I don't want to watch any more TV.
As
after
of
that,
next
so
week,
yeah.
it's going to be 7 shows.
Yeah.
Well-
tune in Fridays 1 p.m.
You know what? Give me some advice because looks like America's Next Top Model's canceled.
Brie.
Yeah, it got
Oh.
canceled yesterday.
Wait.
you-
Can I talk about my show really quick before we get into Next Top Model?
Yeah.
Ghosty.
Because I'm watching a show right now from the BBC on the BBC, and it's called Toast of London,
Oh.
and it's Matt Berry, who is absolutely hilarious. If you have not
From
seen
Black Snuffbox.
it, Snuffbox and the IT Crowd. And it's so funny, so funny. Matt Berry is amazing. Check it out; it's a funny comedy. Okay, go. That's my show.
I'm devastated. Is what I was trying to say. Now I have one less show. I can't watch My Human Zoo. I can't watch Tyra talk
What's
about
Human
self-love.
What's Human Zoo?
Okay, reality shows are human zoos to me, and America's Next Top Model is the only reality show that I watch.
Oh, so you're calling the genre Human Zoo?
Yeah.
Hitler got rid of those.
Yes, he did.
Hitler got rid of those.
What are you talking about?
Hitler didn't
zoos.
want human zoos.
So he got
Someone
rid of
came to him
human
and
zoos.
pitched the idea for human zoos.
No,
He was like-
those were a thing.
and he was like, nah.
What?
Look that up later. We talked about it on this podcast. Continue.
What I was
Sorry.
getting
Yes.
at when I said human zoo was the fact that these people, they get people that are most like animals you've ever seen in your entire life, and they get them all together in one house.
Like antlers?
Animals.
It's because you're observing them in their natural habitats. That's what you mean by human
These
zoo?
people I've never seen in my life. They're like magical,
they're mystical
hippos. Because when do you see hippos if not at the zoo?
Right.
Is what I'm saying. And let's just focus on the fact that Tai,
Love her. Love my T-Bay.
who doesn't love T-Bay,
Love her.
Okay, I need
My train.
she
What
done,
What are
and I'm sad about it.
Wait,
My tie bang.
Tai. Okay, so there's Tai and Tai.
My T-banks.
Who is it? Okay, so which one's which?
My
They're
T.
both the same.
It's the same thing.
It's
Yeah,
all
Tyra
the
Banks.
same.
Oh, you said like they didn't like each other.
I would love to
T-Rock.
get like one of the people I used to work with in reality TV on here to talk to you about human zoos. Like, just like, it's not like people like animals. I mean, yeah, they're like thirsty
Have you seen
for
Top
attention.
Model?
I have seen Top Model. Thank you very much.
Well, they added guys so for the last couple seasons. So it's guys and girls in a house together. They all want to be famous models, and they all fuck and fight, and it's so hilarious to watch. And it's like watching animals try to mate and
love it.
try to
Yeah.
kill each
Love
other. And then it's Tyra at the top,
And
the
Tyra's the
lioness at the top of the food
She's
chain.
the queen of the pride.
She is. And it's just like, okay, it's the worst thing you've ever seen. And that's why it's the best thing in the whole world.
Well, I love Tyra Banks
couldn't do
deep
it
down
anymore.
because she's a
don't.
beautiful woman. She's got sass and she's strong.
and she's a mogul. She like built this whole
exactly,
thing herself.
exactly.
Yes.
Like, that's why I respect her.
Yes.
Hell
She
yeah.
knows she built herself.
What
Yeah.
was that reality
22
show?
seasons.
Which one?
20. That's 2 a year, right? You got, like,
Yeah, it's 12
Yeah.
years.
Okay.
12 years.
There's a show that I really like the premise of. It was in another country, in another country, and then they brought it over to America for a few seasons.
Big Brother?
No, it was a show where they thought they were getting a modeling contract, but really it's measuring the quality of them as people.
Oh,
And so basically the way the show would work is you got the models in a room and they're living together and like you're watching how they interact with people, but then they'd say, all right, you have a job, like your job is like you have it's like Fruit of the Loom kind of shoot. So you have like all like those big costumes, like you need to make them sexy and you need to go shoot it. So when they're waiting to go shoot, like one scenario I watched was a woman came in. I was going through the trash because she lost her wedding ring and she's freaking out about it. She like calls somebody on the phone so like she can give a little bit of exposition to like the person who's listening. They don't know what's happening. They don't know this is what the show's about. So you watch who will like step up and do that. And there's no one else in the room, so it's just like one-on-one who will do this. And then people get
Cool.
voted off like that. And so it's really
And they
hard.
don't
Wow.
know?
So it's
They-
the challenge was who's going to help her?
Who is a better person?
That's
wow, I'd watch the
crazy.
shit.
It was a
out of that.
really cool idea, and like, but at the same time, it seemed really weird because you're putting like these people who are like, I don't know, in the
It's
entertainment
super
business. they're-
exploitative.
Yeah,
Okay,
there
so
you go,
I
yeah.
don't know if this is the same people, but there was also this show in the UK or something, and I don't like reality shows because
Yeah.
it's all the same, and it's like
most of it's scripted.
most of it's scripted. It's all made up shit. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe how crazy they are. Well, I can't because they're making them act that way, or they're already crazy and they're just editing it to make it look like they're crazier than they actually are.
It's you're producing people.
Right.
You try to cast personalities that will clash.
Right.
And anytime they're off camera, you're putting words in their ear trying to get them to clash.
Like anytime there's like the talking head segment where they're like, I really thought Christy was the one for me. Like that's the 5th time they've said that, and they're trying to say it as
And
naturally as
also,
possible.
we're saying, can you say that
Yeah,
again?
can you-
But can you put the whole thing in it? Can you say,
Yeah.
I thought that Christy was the love of my
And also,
life.
can you
Go.
add this part in? And then
Yeah,
because
we're looking for sound bites that will make the story work.
right.
or
So-
if it's the hills, they're like, here's a Birkin bag. Now go fight.
Yeah, one of you
So
gets
what-
this.
what was the
so
show?
what I was gonna say is I don't like reality shows, but when someone explained the concept of this reality show to me, I needed it in my life.
What is it?
It's basically a show, and I don't know how far they go with it and how real it ends up being, but it's a show where they convince one man that the world ended.
That's so fucked
That's
up.
awful.
And the way they did it was they got his entire family and friends and neighborhood in on it. So they
Big deal.
They blocked off the entire neighborhood. I heard they changed the radio in his
No,
car
that's so mean.
to have like actual apocalypse type broadcasts. They took like the SIM chip in his car and his phone and made it so that like any websites he accessed would have like actual end of the world news and headlines and things. things, and his friends would like it was like this fucking massive thing, and I guess there's like many seasons of it, and then these guys went off to make other things that are just as crazy and big and insane as that. But that's the kind of reality show
I would watch one episode of
That's
that, and I would
horrible.
feel bad about it. I would not feel good about watching. I like Face Off. You ever watch Face Off on Sci-Fi?
That show's great.
That show's real cool. It's about makeup artists.
Yeah,
like
it's-
real practical makeup artists.
yeah.
They do
But here,
crazy.
talking
You know,
cool
I was
things.
on set though with a makeup artist who does the cleanup for that show, and she was telling me all these things about it that is going to make you not want to watch it.
That sucks.
What,
Then
that they're
don't
assholes or
do
something, or
Well, okay, the makeup artists aren't professional makeup artists, and
Yeah.
so they like put things on models that they're not supposed to, like
Whoops.
actual super glue on them,
Oh,
and like shit
shit.
where it's like they hurt them and they burn them, and like you don't see any of
The
that
models
stuff
aren't
because
a
they
part of the show, right? It's just the artists are the highlighted.
exactly.
portion, yeah.
But the and then this woman, the team has to come in after and clean them up and like try to get all the shit off of
Oh,
them, and it takes like
shit.
3 hours to
And
get
the
all that
result-
shit off because they like fuck them up without real,
awful.
and the models don't realize it because they're like just sitting there and they're zoning out or whatever, and these guys are like, yeah, I'll stick on these fake fingernails with super glue, and it's like. Why would you give that type of show to people that aren't professional makeup artists when you have professional makeup artists that are looking for that type of work, and you're going to give it to these amateurs
Because they're not
after that show
casting
anyway?
people for skill; they're casting them for personalities.
Personalities,
That's why you
I
have
get
people.
that. I
who
get that.
yeah.
But that's why I don't think it's a good show, because I
Damn.
do have friends that are in the industry, and when they go to like makeup conventions, those people, the amateurs, are spotlighted and they get the work, whereas the people who have been in the industry for 20 plus years that are professionals are losing work to these people.
Isn't that the whole entertainment business, though?
That's
Not
what
to be
that's what it's
negative.
become, and that's why those types of reality shows are so negative to me. Even like things like The Voice, where it's like, yeah, these people are incredibly talented, but what about those other people? You know what I mean?
They
It's
don't have
just
a
like,
story.
I've got an idea for a
Exactly.
reality show. You go to you audition kids and you find the worst kid out of all of these kids.
You can't.
Hang on, just wait. I'm not done. You find the worst child. I'm talking like 15 to 17. Okay.
So not
not
a
a
child, a
teenager.
teenager.
Yeah. So let's do that. Let's do like
That's not as
Let's do
bad.
like 14 to 18. Okay.
so almost adults.
Almost adults. You pick the worst of them. You know, they're fucking arsony, you know, whatever,
The Veruca
stealing cars
Salts.
and shit. The absolute
Nice.
worst kid. The family is
Hey.
like, we don't know what to do. He's such a good, you know, he's always getting arrested and shit. That kid, you send him to jail. And the reality show is about that kid trying to survive
So
in
Scared
jail.
Straight.
You mean Beyond Scared Straight?
Right, but those shows are like you got a whole group of kids, and there's like I want one kid.
You want a kid to get like shanked.
Murdered.
Well, I mean, you know, I mean that some of the inmates are told not to do that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
like we have
they
control
promise.
over that.
They promise they're not gonna
We
fuck with this
swear.
I
kid.
mean, hey,
Yeah.
look, Darwin Awards. Am I right? I mean,
No.
look.
So you signed him up for it. you
just-
signed him up. For
Okay,
the
okay. How about
award.
this? How about this? Instead of sending them to prison, we send them to an island with no other people on it.
And no camera. crew.
That sounds like a dream come true. Are you kidding? That's my
no,
dream.
no. If you have a troubled kid who likes hanging out with his mates and throwing bricks through walls and
You
shit.
guys are watching Skins, aren't you?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
totally watching
Yeah.
Skins.
Yeah.
Those kids are bad. Those kids need to go to an island on their own and be there.
Cook.
on their own. Well,
Cook
Cook
needs to.
I mean, they're all shitheads except for J. What's his name?
Thomas?
PJ or TJ or whatever.
JJ?
JJ. Yeah, JJ's good.
We're clearly on the second,
We're on the third
third
season.
series.
Third
is what
season.
they
Yeah,
call
we're
it.
almost done with the third series.
Second generation. We're in
Okay,
the second
so
generation.
anyway, yeah, to an island alone, no other people.
Does he have
They
a
have to
camera
fend for
crew,
themselves.
or is it?
You leave them there for a month. Yeah, there's a camera. Well, no, there's hidden cameras.
You ever heard of the baby borrowers?
What's that?
The
Yeah.
Baby Borrowers is another ill-fated reality show that's amazing.
It's-
where they gave a bunch of teenage couples, like 5 teenage couples who are not ready to have kids. They gave them other people's newborn babies
That is
To take care of.
That is the dumbest
and then
idea.
let the parents watch them on a 24-hour
Well, hold on,
camera
guys. There's
feed.
enough babies where it's okay. There's a room
No,
for error
there's no
in this babies.
breakage in babies. This isn't
Listen,
like that episode
there's
of Breaking
room for
Bad.
There's room for
error.
error.
No.
Look, there's babies born every day.
That's
New babies.
so callous.
You know, the good thing about that show was that it was making teens not want to have babies right away. Hopefully.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean,
Yeah.
there was like a positive message.
But I just want a
as that
kid who's
parent, I
like-
would never let that happen to
see,
my baby.
Well, not that, but I want the
Especially
kid who's
my
like,
teeny tiny baby.
What about, because I can already see the
My
parent,
aunt
my
baby.
little tiny baby. I want, because I can see the parents going like, we've tried therapy, we've tried, everything, sending it to a boot camp, we've tried positive influence of friends, everything. Sending them off to a boarding school, camps. Those parents need their child to go to an island for a month. No one else there.
I'm telling
wait,
you,
he
that's
comes
not
back,
a punishment.
Kid will die.
No. If he doesn't, he comes back a monster.
A
he becomes
monster
somebody who
who
has
survived.
survival skills.
That
Maybe.
kid is literally the leader
Like you
of
made
Lord of the
Rambo?
Flies.
Yeah.
You're arming a kid with survival skills that they should not have.
No.
It's your first blood.
Okay, here's an idea. Did you guys ever watch another sci-fi show? It was Tracy Morgan hosted it.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Scare
that-
Tactics.
Scare Tactics. There you go.
I remember
love
that.
Scare Tactics.
It was
Scare
really
Tactics
funny.
was the best, but you take it to the next level.
Okay.
A family member.
You don't tell them you're fooling.
No, you don't.
Ever.
No, not even their
There's
family.
not a, you're on Scare Tactics. It's just, it just ends.
It
and it's
ends.
done.
They have to go
Wow,
home.
so it's like a horror movie. Because I always think about in horror movies, at the end of the movie, you always see like the girl survives or something, or the girl and guy survives, or the guy survives, and it's like he's covered in blood, and he's
And they
like,
just have to
"Oh,
live
my,
with it."
Yeah, all my friends are dead, and like the cops come and they're sitting in the back of the police vehicle with the blanket on, and they're like, and then the credits roll. What the fuck happens to them after that? They're fucked for life. They will never be the same.
Here we go.
They get paid and they move on to the next movie.
Okay,
well,
but
no, I'm talking about that character.
the character. So
That-
but you don't.
That's
the,
what
the,
sequels
the
are
people,
for.
Let's do that in real life.
The people in real life, what happens? You don't tell them for a year or two. Oh. So eventually they do find out. So, but and then you don't release the episode for like 3 years.
So
you-
okay, but
you're gonna
let's
have to
start
back,
off. So,
like,
okay,
you
I
know,
like this
storm.
idea,
You're
Sam.
gonna
I'm
have to link
behind it.
later
I
it.
want to put some money into it. But
Thank
let's
you.
talk about this because I want to start off small. I want to start off like because everybody's got that story in their life where they're like, I swear I saw something weird, man. I saw like a ghost out of the corner of my eye or a door slam somewhere or whatever. Someone's story. Let's start small and give someone that story. But it's so terrifying that they absolutely believe that it was like, this is a ghost thing that happened to me. Then 10 years later, we go and find them and be like, guess what? That thing that happened to you when you were like 9, we totally made it up. Here's the footage of it. Here.
Okay,
That's how you send someone to an insane asylum.
Okay, what if you
Again,
don't go?
room for error. Lots of humans on this planet.
No!
Okay,
Lots of
don't go that
humans.
extreme. We're not like there's not gonna be like a murder or anything. You do what you just said. You did like the little conspiracy theory things, like
Yeah.
but you don't.
Saw some lights
No
at
one's
night.
in on it. No one's in on it, and you just pick a kid or pick an adult, and
Right.
you do things like that.
You just go to a playground in a trench coat and you pick a kid.
You just point at that
You
kid for
point
3
at him,
hours.
and then you get in your car and drive off.
There was a show that we were developing at one point that we were trying to do where we were going to stage like an earthquake. Like we were going to stage like a disaster, like either an earthquake or
We gotta get
like-
Bree's dad involved in this.
Yeah.
or an elevator that just stops and you're stuck there. And the thought was we would give a bunch of people compatibility tests and we would find 2 people that on paper would be amazing together.
Oh, so you're
And we were
So
going
it's
to
like
dating?
matchmaking.
Yeah.
It's
So
like,
we were
it's
gonna
like
stage-
the anxious matchmaker.
No. So we were
Let's
going to
give
stage,
anxiety.
put 2 people in a survival situation and see if they
Can I-
come through it in love.
Can I
with
pitch
each
a
other.
title for you?
Yes.
Cupid Extreme.
I really like that idea.
Right?
Yeah. It would.
That's fucked up.
It's reality TV.
It's a
all right?
reality show.
It's reality TV.
I kind of
all
like
right?
it.
That's not
You know what we could do?
racist,
We
it's
could take-
reality
we could take-
TV.
We could take your dad's Quake cottage,
Sure.
and dress around it so that you don't know it's like the Quake cottage. They go into it. They open the door to another room in some
Yeah, it's
place.
supposed to be
It
some
looks like a
kind of-
house.
It's supposed to be like some kind of waiting room.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
going there for a job interview.
Yeah.
Or they're
and then
going in
stuck
for
in there.
a screening
Yeah.
for a movie.
Yeah,
There you go.
they're stuck in
Perfect.
there. They're trapped, and then it starts shaking and quaking, and
love
they
it.
have
I
to depend
love
on
it.
each other to survive. Maybe, just maybe, some sparks fly.
How is that any different from any of the things I pitched to you?
Because-
Oh, that's scary.
Because
someone.
you added a love factor. That's
But then it added a love story, and that
bullshit.
means that it's okay. And
How
also,
would
you
you
find
know?
out immediately that it was a
no,
prank.
you cannot find out
How would
immediately.
you do?
You need
Question.
3 years.
Question.
No.
Question.
What?
How would you know if these people are going to be compatible? Like,
don't.
what's the test? Like,
The compatibility test is like 200 questions. It's like the OkCupid test, where they figure out compatibility through like answers to specific.
Yeah, but how do you
important
present them in
questions.
an organic way that doesn't seem like they're on a reality show?
Well, no. no. We have a bunch of people come in for a study, and we pay them for that study. We'll pay them $25 to fill out a bunch of questions, and that's it.
Oh, you do that first. Then you do the disaster thing.
Then we contact them and say, hey, we'd love to follow up with you.
You only choose the ones that you felt were compatible based on the test?
Exactly, based on the test.
Girl,
Okay.
would you do it like opposites attract?
Well,
What's
you'd
the
hope for
compatibility
some
thing?
of that, where it's like people who wouldn't expect
You do
to
categories.
fall in love with each other.
And then maybe you even pick 2 people or 3 people that were compatible and see which one.
And see if they all fuck each other.
Yeah.
Cool.
Kind of into it.
Can I be on
But
it?
no one can know at the end of it. We can't
Yeah,
tell
that's
them it
the
was
thing.
a
No
show.
one can know.
We
them.
can't
This
tell them.
show,
no,
hold on. Matt,
it
Matt,
ruins
hold
it.
on. We're greenlighting your show. Hold on. We're going to give you 12 episodes.
Okay.
We're going to give you $750 million to make the show.
Holy God, that's incredible.
You sign this contract, it's yours.
Okay.
You can't tell them ever. No one, they will never know.
Ever.
Oh. They
But
will
what about when
never
the
know.
show airs?
Never know.
What
No,
about
what about
that?
when the show
We're
airs?
That's when they find out.
We're going to kill them after the show.
What?
but what about the pilot I pitched to you about bettering society?
What's that
It's
one?
the scripted 45-minute drama.
No, nobody wants that.
You're right.
I pitched a Bettering Society show where we were gonna hand out American Express gift cards with $1,000 on them to homeless people.
Oh, no,
Nice.
And-
this is sounding bad.
No.
Okay.
We were
all
going to
right.
hand them to homeless people,
You
and we were
got
going to
me
say,
so
look,
far.
use this, go buy some clothes, get a hotel room, take a hot shower, get a meal, call your family if you haven't spoken to them in a while, and whatever you don't want to use, use however much you want, but if there's anything left on the card when you're done, come give us the card back in 3 days. And if they came back with the card... and we like tracked all the purchases and it was like no cash withdrawals and it was all like positive stuff, we were gonna give them another $10,000.
Wow, cool.
That's a strange
But-
one. It's like the one where that sounds not knocking it. I'm sorry, but
No,
like
no.
it's
The
There
reason
are a
why
lot
we
of
didn't do
flaws
it, there are
with
a
that.
lot of
there's a
reasons
lot of
why we
okay.
didn't
Thank
do
God.
it.
All right, I feel bad.
Yeah.
Because
there's a lot of
Vietnam
reasons.
vets with PTSD.
Well, it's like one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People
If
that-
someone's
and mental
mentally,
illness.
if someone's
Mental
mentally ill,
And addiction
you
is mental
legally
illness.
nothing that you have them sign is legally binding.
Oops.
Just because they're mentally ill, they don't know necessarily what they're
Shit,
signing.
I gotta go check the deed
Yeah.
on my car now.
I know, like I am mental
Yeah.
illness. What does that mean for me?
Yeah.
The
Well,
I
closest
can't buy
that
a
we
home.
came-
you are proven to be a functioning member of society.
The closest that we
pay
came
your
to doing
taxes,
it, the
you get-
version that came closest but ultimately never went anywhere, was we were going to give an ordinary person $1,000 and see what they did with it. And if they did more good with it than stuff for themselves, we would
like
give
that
them a
better.
bunch
how
of
about
money.
this? How
That's
about this?
still fucked up though. I still don't like. Sorry.
No,
I'm
no,
not- yeah,
it's again.
yeah.
That's why it
Hey,
never
they
happened.
still get $1,000.
They
Let me
get $1,000,
pitch-
but
let me
then
pitch.
you're just measuring what kind of people they are, and
Yeah.
then putting it on the air.
They're
Okay,
human beings.
let me pitch this idea. You choose one person, a good Samaritan, someone in life who, they do charity work. They're a good, their town sees them as the nicest person in town, good heart, family person.
And you give them the box from the movie The Box.
No, you give that person $10,000, tax free. Do whatever you want with it. You observe. You observe what they do with it in 3 days. If it's all nice stuff or whatever. And also, you don't allude to it being like oh, you're so nice, we want to see what you do with it.
Yeah.
It's just like you won $10,000. It's almost like a fake lottery thing.
Yeah.
Then, by day 3, you do something real scary, fucked up to them, something they'll always remember, a ghost thing, some kind of scary
Sasquatch.
it's Sasquatch. You do something that they'll never forget, just like at the end of the horror movie, and you never tell them.
And on that note, we're going to wrap up this episode of the SourceFed podcast. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please,
Here's
if
$1
you haven't
billion.
If you haven't checked us out on YouTube, go subscribe. If you haven't checked us out on iTunes, rate and review. It really does help the show. And if you haven't checked out Test Tube Plus over on iTunes, you totally should. Trace Dominguez breaks down your favorite science topics in an incredible, easy-to-digest format. And he's just terrific.
Love that Trace.
Love him. Go
I'd like to
check that
trace
out.
him
Quattro
on a piece of
Cinco
paper.
Trace.
That's right.
Yeah. So-
also, one more thing. At
Yeah.
the end of the reality
I
show,
could have just
after
said unos dos
Uno, dos,
tres.
tres.
Cuatro, cinco, cinco, seis.
Okay, so
Wow.
after they get the haunting thing happen to them that they'll
Yeah.
never forget, then you put them in jail.
Shut up, Steve.
And on an island.
Also, in case anyone is
Alcatraz.
interested and you love podcasts, you want to listen to more podcasts, our pals Will and Darren have a podcast.
Say what?
Yeah, called She Didn't Text Back. I have a podcast called Ask Leaves where I answer people's advice questions. That comes out on Mondays and Thursdays.
And
We
I
have a
also have
Twitter.
a podcast where I put microphones up my guest's ass and we listen to what their stomachs
What
sound
is that
like.
called?
What do they have to say?
Very
It's called,
superstitious.
no, it's called, what do we got here? Tummy aches? What are we talking?
wait,
tummy
we
aches?
talking
We
tummies?
talking tummies? We talking
No,
tummy
but real
aches?
quick, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Brie Esrig.
I'm at Steve Zaragoza.
Sam's Tiny Place. What is it? Find out soon.
Ooh.
And I'm Matt Lieberman. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
It's something from my
No,
past.
that's
I
called
want to show
doing
you.
the Soldier Boy. That's called doing the Soldier.
I've got an even. It's the new one. It's called the Monkey Walk. I'll show you later.
What do you mean this was a routine? You did it on stage, or
No, I used to do it like in. I used to be one of my bits.
Oh, really? Just
Yeah.
for friends?
Is it
a
Yeah,
good
for
gag?
friends. It's not for kids.
It just kind of starts. It's just like two humans are riding through the forest. It's just like, oh, there must be a unicorn here because it's so green. Don't you go nowhere, unicorn.